So, it's been a little while since I've recorded. Today is November 12th. Um, Yesterday was Veterans Day. Um, I have been struggling a lot emotionally and mentally and all of that with things for a little bit now. Um, I wouldn't say I'm depressed, but I don't know, I feel really frustrated. Um, I've been exercising every single day, and every single day, me exercising has been very, very gradually lowering my weight because in order to get top surgery, I have to lose 3 to 5 pounds. Um, I have been trying really super hard, working my butt off on trying to do that. It it sucks to be fighting genetics. Like 98% of the people I'm related to are all shaped like me, even though they're manual laborers and, work outdoors a lot, have lots of farmers for relatives, lots of people up in Alaska who do hard work, construction workers, like, it doesn't matter. Um, we're still all shaped like this. But I am trying, and it just feels very arbitrary, and it's just super frustrating. I've had so many setbacks with my transition, and I've tried to focus on the positive and focus on what's going right, and it's apparently finally enough things that I've had a setback with that I just feel frustrated. I'm still hoping that somehow my name can finish changing soon, but I can't not have a driver's license, so there's that. And I've been on testosterone almost a year. On the 18th, it'll be 11 months, and that's not including, the month and a half, 2 months, or whatever that I was on the gel. And I just never got any bottom growth. The majority of trans men get it anywhere from a week to 3 months after they start T. The majority of them get it pretty quickly. Some guys, like even the most delayed or whatever guys, tend to get it around like 6 months. And by 9 months, a lot of trans guys have like, if they're aroused and they're turned on, like a little pinky finger worth of bottom growth. And I had flat skin with nothing, and all I can figure is that's why. And it tore through and punctured my skin and made it like a straight line puncture through my skin. And now I have this weird little nub, and that's it. That's all I have, and that's all I've had. That's It still took forever to actually happen. I don't know if I'll ever get bottom growth, and I don't know what that's indicative of. I don't know if that means that I don't have enough nerves to even get like microsurgery or something. I don't know if that means that I might not have glands, and I don't know if that, like, how much that entails. I don't know if that was just a deformity I was born with, or if that's because like some sort of surgery was done to me when I was little, and I had like a little micro penis or something that was cut off, and then so the skin sewn over. I don't know. the weird little thing I have still doesn't have a hood, the way that, girls have over their clitoris when they're born assigned female at birth. Um, I just, I don't know why it has to be like that. It's frustrating. I, I have a tremendous amount of dysphoria about it, and I try really hard not to think about it or be upset and try to focus on what's good, but I was so relieved about the top surgery thing because at least I could start moving forward with surgeries, because I have a long way to go, and there's all these stupid like wait times that I realize the earliest that all of this can be me on the other side of it is probably my early 40s, and in reality probably my mid 40s, and it's just awful to know that, and to understand that. And a trans person told me the other day that technology was going to develop and I was probably going to live to 100, and to not take it so hard. That I have more years than I think I do, because the average lifespan in the United States, you know, is going to change and it's going to shift, and technology is going to advance to where we're all living past 100. I don't know if that's true. That's definitely possible, but to me that would be like putting out checks to pay rent when I haven't actually got paid yet, and trusting that my paycheck will come in and there won't be a bug in the system, there won't be a delay, there won't be a holiday, so I don't get paid till the next week, or something that goes on, and then my checks bounce, and then I have problems, and I have fees, and I have difficulties. I don't spend money I don't actually have, and I don't assume that things are going to improve drastically like that, when currently that is not the case. Currently, right now, the average lifespan expectancy in the United States is actually shrinking. It's getting shorter. So I feel like it's very optimistic to feel that way about technology advancing and all of us living past 100. Um, Technically, I am related to someone who lived past 100, but I just I just want to be able to exist. I know what I want my life to look like, and it doesn't look like that. And as long as I feel like I'm moving toward it, it's it's not too bad. But it feels like I keep doing the right things, and I keep doing the things that I'm supposed to do. I keep trying to push through to good things and the correct things, and there's always just something else. I already had my letter ready for surgery. I already had my referral, so that they were able to just literally redo my referral. My doctor, without me even having to ask her, wrote a letter, and I still am delayed on getting top surgery because of a 0.4%. I have been having the worst time trying to find a therapist. Apparently, all of the therapists in all of the greater Seattle area, I've even been looking at therapists like an hour away, they're just all booked completely, that are qualified for what I need, because I need a therapist who can write letters, because I want more surgeries in the future, not because I like surgery, but because I want to be able to just exist. And I want to be able to just be me, and that be all there is. No other major stuffs. And I realize that surgery doesn't magically get rid of all dysphoria. Um, but it would help me tremendously. And I just want to get past the pain and the recovery times and the frustrations and get to normal, simple, non dramatic frustrations in life. Like, less internalized frustrations and more like, oh, look, there's really bad traffic. This is the worst thing that's happened all day. Like, I didn't have any, panic attacks or freak outs or nothing. Like, the worst thing that happened was it was bad traffic. Ooh, like, I feel like sometimes I struggle with patience with life, but I don't know how much of it is that I'm actually an impatient person and how much of it is I just have so much to be frustrated about with just existence. I have an appointment to talk to a therapist on Monday, but we're, the bills are really, really tight, and I'm probably going to have to pay for it out of pocket. And I'm already paying for my spouse to continue to see her specialist out of pocket because she wasn't quite finished when we left New York. But that's really important. But I can't find a therapist covered by Medicaid who writes letters who's actually available, like literally at all. Um, Especially any that actually have any like training with PTSD and childhood trauma stuff. Like the majority of the therapists that are even covered by Medicaid are really basic therapy, and I have never done well with basic therapy. Like plain old counselors have never really ever helped me at all. It's always been a train wreck. Um, we're already at a deficit for our bills, but we do have a savings, and I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to make it work or something. I don't know. Moving, and then once we moved, having to get a new car, and how much more expensive it is here. It's all just compounding. I thought I was going to be starting a new job, and that fell through, and that sucked because we could really use the money. Um, my roommate, our girlfriend, she's been, you know, trying to be nice about stuff and not expect us to pay so much stuff. Like we had agreed to pay a certain amount. But basically, she'd pay a certain amount toward things, and we had to adjust that a little bit because we couldn't afford to do it. And so she is covering more of the bills than what originally was agreed upon, which sucks, but it is hopefully temporary. Um, Even if I can't find any work that I'm actually going to be able to do. Unfortunately, because my name is different on different documents and stuff, I was reading up on it, and apparently you're not supposed to get a job when you're in the middle of a name change, which sucks because I wish even if the Social Security Administration like can't open and allow walk-ins and stuff, I wish they would at least expand what you can go in for appointments for. Like, I just feel like everything is all like roadblocks, and I'm trying to get over the roadblocks. I'm trying to do all the right things, and it's just all still roadblocks. And I don't know how to make anything better. I am losing weight. It's just very, very slowly. It's horrible because I don't feel like I'm losing any fat. I feel like I'm losing muscle, and I hate feeling weak. I hate it. I don't feel like I've lost any fat, even though all I'm doing is walking, and walking is painful for me because of the arthritis in my ankles, but I am doing it for hours. I am walking minimum 2 hours, sometimes 5 hours a day, every single day, and there's been parts of that that's been nice. I get to see, the harbor seals and the sea lions and the birds, and even seen a whale once walking along the waterfront. At least I have somewhere nice to walk. And I have been eating a caloric deficit. I some days am eating a pretty significant caloric deficit. Every other day I do intermittent fasting. I'm doing all the things that I know how to do, and I'm losing like zero point 0.1 of a pound a day. It's so frustrating. I also realized that, she asked me to do this lady who works for the surgeon, and she didn't actually give me her email address. She said to take a picture of me on the scale with the weight, but I don't know where to send that picture, so I have to call the surgeon's office and find out where I'm supposed to even send this once I can do it. And my girlfriend was like, "Oh, just take your weight at the very, first thing when you wake up after you go, pee and everything from the night. Go weigh yourself then and send a picture of that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because when I get to the hospital, sneaky me is definitely going to weigh that. I've been trying to take my weight more later in the day when it's actually more honest because I mean, I'm going to a hospital is to get a surgery. It's not like I can trick them." She was like, "We can trick them into thinking you weigh a different amount." And I'm like, "Yeah, but then when I show up and I don't weigh that amount, it's gonna be like, like, um, she's so funny." I've thought about doing it though, just to try to push my name up on the waiting list or whatever. I don't even know how many people are ahead of me on that list. I don't know. And I understand the pandemic's backed everything up and everything. I definitely understand that. And I think part of the reason I can't find a therapist isn't just the Medicaid. I genuinely think because of the pandemic, everybody's having mental health problems and they're seeking therapy. Or even I've met quite a few people who, were taking the pandemic as a sign that they needed to get their life right. And I had already started before the pandemic, but I didn't I didn't start moving forward with things until after the pandemic started. So, um, it is what it is with that. I can't control a pandemic. No one can control a pandemic. Um, but it's definitely making things harder. And I don't know what to do to push past roadblocks. I was waiting for my name change to change all of my stuff and all of my information on all of the websites and all of the accounts that I've got and blah 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 blah. And it's taking long enough that whatever ones that I can change, I've been very gradually changing to like boost my confidence or my feeling like something's getting doneness. There's not that many left that I can change it like that, so I'm doing the best I can as I can. But there are still some, but I'm worried about running out of them because that's my little tiny jump start of hope or whatever that I give myself. So I have not been gaming. I have not been playing anything. Um, I honestly have been walking so much, so hard. Like I'm, you know, not walking super slow. I'm trying to actually get my heart rate up and everything. Um, I get worn out and I don't really have energy for gaming. Um, because I still have to do all my household, chores and stuff, and I still have to take care of the girls. Um, Still have to do everything. Um, can't, let any of my responsibilities fall by the wayside. But at the same time, I just haven't had a lot of energy. And I haven't really wanted to be thinking super hard about things, so maybe I am a little depressed. I don't know. I just. I never got an Adam's apple from tea, and I know some guys don't. And I never got body recomposition. That didn't happen. I lost like an inch off of my hips, and that was it. And sometimes testosterone like really makes some huge significant changes for people, and then sometimes it doesn't. And I already had the weird testosterone levels I had my whole life, so I mean, at least there's an explanation. But I will say my voice did deepen some, and my hairs on my face and on my body did get darker, and I feel like my beard definitely thickened in, and stopped being as patchy. Like I can let all of this grow out and be fuzzy because it's not like weird looking to me. It grows in nice straight lines now. Um, at least there's that kind of stuff. Like, and flat out as far as like my mental health goes and a lot of my health conditions and stuff go, it improved them significantly. But as far as like a bunch of changes to make me more masculine, tea really, hasn't done a crap ton of things for me that weren't already true and there. Um, it gave me a bunch of acne, but that's not necessarily a masculine thing. Um, that's just acne. Thankfully, it did not make me start balding, and thankfully, my T resides very high without any estrogen repercussions or anything. Um, but that's partially because my body makes its own testosterone to a certain degree anyway. It likes testosterone, just in general because I'm a boy. Um, I just I look at other trans guys and I look at like, you know, their vlogs and blogs and Reddit posts, and I'm part of these trans groups, and you know they have a lot of stuff that's different, and a lot of different experiences for me, and in some ways it was a relief that when I finally started to accept that I really couldn't live as a non-gender person, even though technically that's what I was born as. Um, I mean, as a boy with deformities that looked like female parts. I don't know how to better describe it being intersex. Um, but, like, I already had a beard before I ever even started testosterone. I had a beard my whole life since I was like a teenager, and I had been shaving it off my entire life so that people didn't hopefully notice that I had a beard. And in some ways, it was helpful that I could already grow a beard. It was helpful because it helped me pass better. It helped people believe me better, um, that were not related to me. Anyone related to me thinks I'm evil, but, well, not every single person related to me, but a huge majority of them. Um, but it having all of these male characteristics already that I did have, you know, the stomach hair and, you know, all the leg hair and the butt hair, hair everywhere, hair on my back, hair on my chest, you know. I already had all of that. That wasn't something that testosterone gave me. And a lot of these trans guys that I see, you know, they're so excited as they transition and they see all these changes happening. And I did feel some of that, especially as my voice started to drop. You know, that was like helpful, you know, and exciting. But it's sort of, even though it did help in a lot of ways, it also was semi a detriment in that it doesn't it doesn't have the same, hey, things feel like they're changing and things feel like they're moving forward and things feel like this big wonderful glow of, yes, stuff's happening. um, I've had a lot of, hey, something's happening finally, oh, I'm so relieved, and then, oh, now nothing's happening again. I've had quite a bit of that. And the other thing is when I started taking testosterone, the changes that began happening happened very quickly. Some of the things that happened were the kinds of things that most trans guys don't have happen until later on. And so it wasn't even like it was like this prolonged state of change, um, in like those positive, exciting ways, you know. But at the same time, I shouldn't complain because I'm sure there's a lot of trans guys who wish they had been born with the ability to grow a beard, you know, even if I never could have the beard until I finally started to accept that I shouldn't be living for other people's opinions, which was unfortunately uh, only like 2 years ago that I started doing that. I think it was actually almost literally 2 years ago, because it was at some point in, I believe November, when I had the giant meltdown about I definitely wasn't a girl, but was I non-gender or was I male? And that's weird to think about, that it's been almost 2 years since I started really confronting the fact that part of what was wrong with me wasn't all just that I had grown up with some abuse or unhappiness or things like that, but that part of what was wrong with me was that I was just refusing to accept what doctors had told me and would continue to tell me, and that I was running away from my masculinity because I had been convinced that that was what made me a monster. That was what made me evil. That I need to go pray. And I did pray. I prayed so fucking much. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. But there wasn't something wrong with me. There was something wrong with calling me evil. I've wondered before why so much of my family and my parents believed the doctor who happened to be there in a little tiny blurb of a place in Alaska, who didn't have, the same medical understandings as probably even doctors in the lower 48 states, like who probably was not the most educated person. Why they trust that person who didn't even have an ultrasound machine? Why do they trust that person that, yes, I had to be that? And all of the doctors that at this point have given second and third and fourth and fifth opinions, why they can't trust any of them. And I genuinely think that they think all doctors at this point are owned by Big Pharma, and there are no doctors who aren't owned by Big Pharma, and therefore they're all liars and pushing like this agenda thing that supports Big Pharma and blah blah blah. But the interesting thing about that is, if all of these doctors who were telling me this, every single one of them, all were like slaves to Big Pharma, um, wouldn't I be on a bunch of drugs? Like medicines and crap? Literally, the only things I take are my testosterone and iron for my anemia. I I have an on use as needed inhaler that I've had since I was 7. Um, well, okay. Let's be honest. My parents were extremely poor. If I actually had an asthma attack, I had to borrow my brother's. I didn't actually have my own inhaler growing up. Uh, let's be honest. But I was first diagnosed with asthma when I was 7. How about that? And I did at 7 have my own inhaler for a little while, that I had to use at the school every day. But the point is, I haven't been needing to use my inhaler. I haven't used my inhaler in like a year. How long have I been on T? Like a year. What? Uh, I told I told my doctor that because she was my doctor before we went to New York for 3 years, and she was like, "You haven't used your inhaler," because she actually had me go do breathing studies and stuff, trying to understand my weird asthma. She was very impressed. But I don't. So technically, I don't even use albuterol anymore. Like I literally just have an iron pill, which isn't a drug. You know, um, it's just because I have a weird blood thing, um, and testosterone. So if all these doctors are trying to make Big Pharma a bunch of money and be slaves to Big Pharma, they're not. doing a really big job of supporting Big Pharma's agenda of getting me on as many drugs as possible. Um, couldn't possibly be that they're just trying to be honest. And I mean, as many doctors as I've seen, maybe one of them or two of them was a slave to Big Pharma at some point or something. Um, that one guy, maybe he was kind of a quack. But I mean, at a certain point, it's you. There's got to be some sort of an understanding that not everyone is the same. Not every doctor is the same. Not every situation is the same. And yet, all of these doctors all agree. And they were right. They were right about me starting to take testosterone, how much it would help me. As far as, like, you know, generalized weird health problems, even though I should have been healthy as a draft horse. And, my depression. Like, that was a massive, massive thing that they were completely right about. And, it doesn't matter that they were right. It doesn't matter that I'm happier um, and not chronically depressed every single day of my life anymore. Um, Even now, feeling frustrated and stuff, it's not depressed like it was before. And I have that to be grateful for, at least. At least that's something that has stayed really true. And and yet it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any more than it mattered when I was younger, how much I tried to be perfect and I tried to do everything right and I tried to always do the right thing and I made perfect grades, and yet I was still evil and needed to go pray for my soul. It doesn't matter how good of a person I was. It doesn't matter how good of a person I was trying to be. It doesn't matter how good of a person I am currently, which is a much better person than I was when I was younger. Yeah, like I still try to do the right thing and I still try to be a good person, and none of that has ever been enough for anyone to forgive that I'm a freak of nature. And I didn't get to choose that. I was born that way, and all I can do is try to do something about it now. And unfortunately, everything I've been trying to do about it, even though they are supposedly the right things to do about it, hasn't really been working out super much right now. Everything seems to be kind of, again, roadblocked, plateaued, however you want to say that. And I don't know what to do except to keep pushing until something gives way. And then hope that when that gives way, it starts building some momentum for other things to give way. I don't know what to do except hard work. But I have to do it for myself. I'm never ever gonna convince anybody who's not already convinced. If people aren't convinced that you shouldn't judge someone for something they had no control over, I'm not gonna convince them. Like, I've come to the point where I have accepted they disregard me the same way they disregard other people. It's not like it's just me and not anyone else. They are very, very bigoted toward everybody. They are very, very racist a lot of the time. They are very, very cruel toward, like, the poor, and it's so weird because so many of them are poor, and yet they have this delusion that they're somehow better than other people who are just as povertous, or maybe even less povertous than they are. Like I'm related to the kind of people who automatically jump to conclusions about, homeless people or immigrants who are definitely climate change deniers, even though, like, even the oil industry, big quote unquote companies are now accepting oil change, or I mean climate change, even though they worked so freaking hard to support all the climate change denial for decades and get to go unpunished for that. Like, I'm unfortunately just related to a lot of people who don't care about other human beings. They don't have empathy toward other humans. And I can't expect that if they wouldn't have empathy for all of these hurting people, why would they have empathy for me? I mean, it's not like I'm special to them. They don't love me more than they love the other people. They don't even talk to me. I've messaged even my mom a couple of times this month, and she's just not talking to me. And I'm pretty sure she's just hanging around conservative people and getting pushed in that direction. She sent me a birthday card almost a full month late, and it did not have my name on it. It had a name that she knows that I do not use on it, and my girlfriend was like jokingly saying, "Oh, well, if that's how she's gonna be, she's not getting a Christmas present." And I was like, "That's not true." Just because they don't like care about me doesn't mean I don't care about them. To my detriment. But I can't live my life for them. It's impossible for me to be something that they could be proud of because of things completely outside of my control. I used to, when I was younger, I used to think I was unlovable, and I wasn't wrong, and I didn't know why I was so unlovable, and that made it so much harder. I have so many journal entries in my teenage years of what's wrong with me. Like, why don't I fit? What's wrong with me? If I had just been born a boy, everything would be fine and nothing about me would be evil. And then turns out I was born a boy. But that didn't fix everything. I'm still considered to be evil. I I just I just want to not necessarily it's not that I don't want to have to work so hard even though I don't believe life is supposed to be this hard. It's that I don't want to work this hard and it be in vain. I'm not afraid of hard work. Hard work is fine. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is to work so hard and not get results of any kind. And I feel like that's where I'm at. That's that feeling of like being stuck, and I hate limbo. I hate being stuck, feeling trapped. I don't like that at all. And I'm just waiting it out and doing my best in the meantime. Because life does have its ups and downs, and it will go up again. It's just a pattern of behavior with life, which saying it that way denotes that the universe has like behaviors and emotions and morals and stuff, which isn't what I was trying to denote, but it's just a cycle, just like currents in the ocean or in the wind. Life has its ups and downs, and apparently I'm in a down right now. Um, and it's weird because I thought once we moved, it would be easier. I thought the transition stuff would go more smoothly. Unfortunately, that did not happen that way. um, except my doctor. My doctor is awesome. She's been super great, but unfortunately, it takes more than one great person to make something happen in this country. Hopefully, this therapist that I'm having a consultation with next week will be good. She said that she does do sliding scale. We will see how expensive this is going to be. If it's even possible. We will see. Hopefully. Honestly, I mean, she does work with other trans folks. Someone in my trans support group literally suggested her to me. It's just, I do need a doctor, or I mean, a therapist who can do more than just write the letter. I do need a therapist who also can, actually help with the stuff that I'm trying to get past from the rest of my growing up years and life and stuff. I really miss my therapist in New York. She was absolutely amazing, and I appreciate her so much. Like, she had never written a letter for a trans person to get surgery before until me. But she learned. She learned how, because that was just the kind of person she was. I will record again probably on the 18th, because that's the anniversary of the testosterone. That will officially be 11 months on T. And then in December, I will officially be 1 year. What? And there have been a lot of changes this year, but a lot of those changes didn't necessarily have to do with the testosterone. Some of them did, though. But some of them were, hey, we're moving, or hey, this stuff needs to get taken care of, or hey, we got a court order for your name change, but you don't get your actual name change. Oh, anyway. Such is life. Sometimes it's easier to get things done than others. Anywho, I think I've said enough complaining for now, lamenting, whatever. I don't like being a complainer, but I figure it's better to get it out here and, to be honest with myself and to be able to look back on myself and have appreciation for what I have, because I can remember what I had to go through. I don't know. Anyway, have a good one. I hope your life is not filled with roadblocks, whoever you are watching.